Just a quick note before you listen. These stories were recorded before we knew we were going to have a podcast, so while the audio might not be the greatest quality, the stories are still just as good. Enjoy.
When I do finally meet Kaya, she looks nothing like her profile picture. She's skinny, smelly, has 2 broken, rotting teeth, and major dandruff. But I can get past this. After a trip to the vet, a bath, and some premium dog chow, she sparkles and is ready to take on the world with me.
It's the TMI Project Story Hour, a series of true stories created in our writing workshops by everyday unsung heroes. They all divulge the too much information parts we usually keep to ourselves for personal liberation, human connection, and freedom, both for themselves and those who listen. As the TMI implies, some content might be too much information for some listeners. And remember, your support keeps our content free and accessible to everyone who wants to listen. So if you like what you hear and you're able to chip in at tmiproject.org, thank you. Either way, we are glad you're listening. Now, here's your host, Julie Novak.
Hey, everybody. Today, we are celebrating 3 storytellers, Crystal Schachter, Sarah Jacob, and Susan Ragusa. All 3 of these storytellers presented at a themed storytelling competition we called TM Idol Story Slams. This particular Story Slams theme was animal attraction, true stories about pets by the crazy human caretakers who love them. And boy, did these storytellers deliver on that theme. Animal Attraction was originally presented on February 18th, 2016 at BSP in Kingston, New York. We are so excited to share a part of that collection with you today. First up, we have Crystal Schachter chronicling an epic battle with her cat. Here's Crystal.
Well, how does she know? I was so careful, the case didn't even rattle as I set it on the floor. But somehow she fucking knows, and now she's under the fucking bed, in that perfect spot where she can't be reached from any side. If you have a cat, you know that spot. She's staring at me, her pupils like eclipsed moons in her big green eyes, her tail switching as I lay face down on the carpet, snack in hand, arm extended toward her. Here, kitty, kitty. Fuck, we have to go. The car is double parked in front of the building, completely packed, with just enough space left for a cat carrier. I'll have to grab her, and this is going to be bad. I get up from the floor and stand the carrier on its back end, open door toward the ceiling. I'll need all the forces of the universe to do this, starting with gravity. I lay back down on the floor by the bed, give one more hopeful, here, kitty, kitty, and then quickly lunge under a few inches and grab her by the front paws. She shrieks like only a cat can, that noise which simultaneously conveys their displeasure and your imminent demise. She resists with all of her considerable kitty girth, digging her back paws into the carpet as I drag us both out by scooting my hips against the floor, her in an ironic down dog position, ears pressed flat to her head, wailing. When I get us out, I clutch her under the armpits and hold her away from me like an explosive device. My arms are fully extended and my muscles strain to support the 13-pound gyrating package. She flails and heaves, dragging her nails across my wrists repeatedly as I curse that no-D clawing portion of the crazy cat lady adoption agreement that we signed. She is completely demented, and in the course of the 5 steps it takes me to get from the bed to the carrier, I am covered in blood and spit and fur. I dangle her over the open carrier, trying to guide her flailing legs and tail, which is now puffed up to 10 times its normal circumference, into the case. But as I lower her toward it, she becomes a cartoon, quickly assuming various complex defensive postures that make it physically impossible for her body to enter the carrier. And eventually her thrashing manages to kick it over onto its side. Fuck! Now I need a free hand to open the door again, and there is no way I'll ever get her back if I put her down. My only available maneuver is to essentially risk my life by clasping her to my body with one arm while I open the carrier with the free hand. If I'm fast, it's possible I'll only lose a lung. I squeeze her to me tightly, throwing my head back to keep away from the paws of death, and in a moment of inspired bodily agility and poise, I tip the carrier up with my foot, fling the door open, grab her around the middle like a football, drop her in before she can recover her senses, slam the door, and bolt the lock. I tumble to the floor, crying, bleeding, shaking, sweating, but my distress is quickly alleviated by sheer exhilaration as I mentally update the scoreboard. Cat, 2,387. Human, 1. Resolve renewed, I grab the case handle and carry us both out the door, ignoring dirty looks from socially responsible Manhattanites who hear the yowling and reflexively hit their PETA speed dial buttons. Within minutes, we are loaded up and on the road, and when we reach the Henry Hudson, I dare to take a deep breath and try to settle down for the 2-hour ride. But like a bad slasher movie villain, she will not go down. Refusing to accept defeat and having exhausted all other resources, she takes the only remaining course of action available, and with impeccable timing launches the nuclear option. Just as a wave of brake lights appears in a sea of traffic and we roll to a complete stop, an oppressive, suffocating fecal stench quickly fills the car. I can only surrender. I crack a window and cover my mouth with my scarf as she contentedly and silently falls asleep. Cat, 2,388. Human, fuck.
Thank you, Crystal. You know, it speaks to Crystal's talent as a storyteller that I can almost smell that story. Next up, we have Sarah Jacob, who finds it easier to be in a relationship with a disabled, incontinent dog than with any man she's ever met. Meet Sarah.
I'm a recovering perfectionist. The addiction starts early. As a toddler, I don't start speaking until I can use full sentences and avoid dangling prepositions and the passive voice. In middle school, I begin each month writing a calendar, planning a different outfit for each day, carefully allocating my favorite clothes for field trips or presentations. This way, I could avoid a time-consuming deliberation every single morning or the predicament of finding myself on a Friday morning wanting to wear the thing that I wore on Monday. I graduate high school as valedictorian, but when I graduate college ranked number 2 in a class of 4,000, my disappointment is crushing. In my 20s in Boston, on the path to assembling the perfect life, I managed to win over a handsome Harvard-trained doctor. Okay, he's a psychiatrist. Dr. David is tall, dark, handsome, and incredibly generous in dispensing ongoing pointers on how I could improve different aspects of myself. He helps me notice when I'm being needy, like when I would ask him to pick me up at the airport after a long international business trip, or ask him to help me carry groceries 10 blocks to my apartment. One night at dinner, we debrief what we're each processing with our individual therapists as well as our couples therapist. Yes, our therapists outnumber us. I describe a very upsetting situation at work. So after pulling 80-hour weeks for the last 2 months because they made me do my old job and my new job, my boss tells me he's disappointed because I'm not stepping up to the plate and taking on special projects. I feel like nothing I ever do is going to be good enough for him. Yeah, And who does that remind you of? You? No, seriously. My mom? Right. Think of all those times when she was disappointed in you. You were just doing your best. You were just a small, scared little girl starving for love. How did that make you feel? What would you want to say to your mom right now? Mom, how did I attract a boyfriend who's such an asshole? We were both working really hard to fix my flaws, hoping that one day I would be good enough for him to marry. But something happened. I met someone else. You know, I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. You're in a long-term relationship, it's not going anywhere, you're feeling restless, and you go online. I'm scrolling through search results, and this picture jumps off the screen. I read the short bio, and nothing has ever been so clear in my life. I have found my soulmate. I break up with Dr. David the next day, before even meeting the one in person. I just know it's right. I can feel it in my bones. I am ready for true love. When I do finally meet Kaya, she looks nothing like her profile picture. She's skinny, smelly, has 2 broken, rotting teeth, and major dandruff. But I can get past this. After a trip to the vet, a bath, and some premium dog chow, she sparkles and is ready to take on the world with me. This relationship is easy. Kaya wants to do everything I want to do. Walk time, great. Nap time, great. Dinner time, great. Bedtime, great. We both have a ton of energy to burn, so we spend weekends going on long hikes and to beaches around Boston. She introduces me to new friends and hardly ever asks about my childhood. I love being Kaya's mom, and she makes me feel good about myself. I trade in my demanding corporate career in Boston for a sweet life in the Hudson Valley. I invent a career where I give small businesses financial guidance, and because my clients are really cool people, they insist that I bring Kaya to the office, which we both love. For a while, we are living happily ever after. But I'm still working on that perfectionism thing. I mean, really working. I can't go to bed or leave the house without the dishes done, table wiped, house clean, socks put away. My house is basically ready for a visit from Oprah at any hour of the day or night. I can't get up in the middle of the night and simply drink a glass of water without using my copper tongue scraper to get rid of that mossy, toxic goo. You know, you're really not supposed to ingest that stuff. I like having friends, but it can waste a lot of time getting to know people who really aren't a fit. You know, the vetting process would be so much easier if I could ask potential prospects to simply fill out a free online Myers-Briggs personality test, provide a handwriting sample, and their astrological chart. I have a hard time doing things just for fun, unless it's productive in some way or includes some form of self-improvement, like yoga, or watching a documentary, or climbing a mountain. There's just no time to waste. But having Kaya helps me start putting things into perspective. At age 3, a callus compresses her spinal cord, and she stops being able to walk or wag her tail or control her bathroom habits. We've had 2 perfect years together, and I'm sure I can fix this. Everyone thinks I'm crazy as I parade her to vet after vet, trying therapies like hydrotherapy, underwater treadmill, laser therapy, sounded good in theory, chiropractic, talk to me if your dog needs a chiropractor, acupuncture, and nutritional therapy. I get certified in Reiki so I can heal her whenever I basically touch her or think about her. I try Chinese herbs, daily massage, physical therapy, crystal bowl sound healing, animal communicators, and past life regression. I even taught her to but that seems to annoy her. The closest she got was whoop. Kaya doesn't care about self-improvement and is wholly motivated by the pursuit of fun, food, naps, and being with me. Even when she becomes paralyzed, she still seems pretty happy. She gets to take more naps, she gets me making her a home-cooked diet, and she gets me to lift and carry her everywhere. But I don't give up, and one day she begins to walk again. It's now 5 years later, and she's still walking. But she still has no idea when she has to poop or pee. It's a Monday morning, I'm at a client's office, and everyone is in, and they have 3 new employees starting. I bring Kaya outside to help her pee, and then put on her diaper before we go up the stairs. She waits at the bottom until she feels my hand under her belly, and then she walks up with her front legs. Halfway up, her tail pops up mysteriously. We get to the top of the stairs before I realize that she's having diarrhea all over me and every carpeted stair. There's no place to run, no place to hide. We have a stink bomb quickly infiltrating the entire office. I dash around looking for paper towels, cleaning products, air fresheners. I'm dumping Windex and Mr. Clean all over the stains, but it's that terrible, stiff, low-pile office carpet, and it shreds the paper towels. Staff are politely avoiding the area as I work on my hands and knees, blotting, rubbing, spraying, massaging cleaner into carpet with bare hands. I get it all clean, wash my hands, and we slink back into the office like nothing happened. Then, 2 days later, a repeat of the exact same event happens at a different client's office. I help her pee, hand under belly, stiff low-pile carpeted stairs, toxic spew, stink bomb, you can picture it. I have no idea how this happened. This is so unlike her. Turns out, an incontinent dog is God's prescription for a recovering perfectionist. Nothing is ever really clean. Now, with the current state of affairs, if Oprah does come to my house, it will probably smell like pee. But that's just the way it is. This is life with Kaya. When I graduated high school, I had a vision of myself at 35. My penthouse apartment in a big city, important job title, white fluffy belongings. But as we say in our house, poop happens. The life I have now is so far from what I had pictured, but every day Kaya is helping me keep it real. I may still struggle with my imperfect self, but most days the way Kaya sees me, perfect just as I am, is good enough for me.
Oh, I love that story. Thank you, Sarah. It seems like we have some developing themes to the difficulties of pet ownership arising, which I, unfortunately, as the owner of a dog who loves to roll in his own poop, understand all too well. Let's get a breath of fresh air with our last storyteller, Susan Ragusa, who shares the twists and turns of a search and rescue for Teddy the dog. Here's Susan.
A dog, maybe for life. Sometimes even they get lost. Did you know that 15 to 20% of dogs are rescued and returned to their owners each year? Late one night last November, I get a call from my friend Ellen. It's an emergency. She's desperate and she's needing my help. A death in her family. Her dad passed away. She's leaving for Buffalo at dawn, needs me to feed her animals in the morning until a regular sitter arrives. After extending my condolences, wishing her a safe trip, not to worry, everything would be fine. She expressed a sigh of relief. She knew she could rely on me to take care of the animals. So I'm at her house at the crack of dawn, find the front door, key, let myself in, feed the cats, take Teddy on a long walk, feed him, hang out with the gang. Everyone accounted for. I blow air kisses, closed and locked the door, returned the key, but I turned around one more time to make sure the door was securely closed and locked. I felt good. You know that feeling. You help a friend. I texted Ellen with pictures. In her grief, she could rest easy. All was well. Well, 2 hours later, my phone rings. It's Ellen. And she is screaming, terrified, and saying out of her mind, "Susan, what the hell did you do?" Teddy escaped from the house. He's walking in the middle of 9G. There are cars swerving everywhere. My neighbor saw him, ran out of her house, grabbed him to the side of the road. When she saw I wasn't home, she called my cell. Why didn't you close the door the way I told you to? Teddy knows exactly how to get out when you don't do that. And now I am sure all the cats follow him. So here I am, standing in the frozen food aisle of Stop and Shop with a car full of groceries, an hour away from Teddy, about to pick up my friend at the Amtrak station in Rhinecliff, with Ellen screaming in my ear, "Elle, is your neighbor sure it's Teddy?" Of course! She's absolutely certain. She wants to know now what to do with him. Do I have to go back? What about the groceries? My friend at the station. I don't want to go back. I was done. I did my good deed. Then I remembered I knew someone who lived near Ellen. I called Ed and asked him to help. And I still had Ellen on the other end of the phone, expecting me to hit the road back to Stuyvesant. I explained the situation to Ed, the location, and he agreed to step in and take over the Teddy search and rescue mission. Now here's where I hold my breath. I have to explain to Ellen I'm sending Ed, a complete stranger, to rescue a dog, and giving a complete stranger the set of keys to her house. I'll get back to you once we have Teddy, and I quickly hang up the phone. Now the phone is our lifeline to each other and to Teddy. Ed, I'm here. I see Teddy. Leash? Me. No leash. Ed, friendly? Yes and no. Skittish if he doesn't know you. Ed, do you have a backup plan if he won't come to me? Nope. You're it. Ed, okay, I'm on it. Me. What happened? No problem. He jumped into my truck. We're on our way to Ellen's. 10 minutes later, Ed just pulled into Ellen's driveway. Me. Oh, great. Ed, Teddy bolted out of the car. He is so excited to be home. He is now heading to the front door. Which, by the way, is shut tight. Me. Okay, Ed, take the key from under the mat and turn it to the left. Ed, got it. Ed, Susan? Does Ellen have another dog? At that very moment, it all fell into place. The new Teddy was not the real Teddy. We rescued an imposter. Me. We have a problem. I think you have someone else's dog. Ed. Well, it looks like there might be a tag around the dog's neck. Me. Do you need me to come up and take over? I mean, I can't leave you with a second rescue. There's an address that belongs on the farm down the road. Call me when you get to the farm. I call Ellen, Teddy's fine, everybody's in place. My phone rings, it's Ed, Ralph is home. His owners have been looking for him since this morning and were beside themselves with fear. Me, we did good, double good. I owe you big, Ed. No, are you kidding me? The farmers gave me a giant basket of goat cheese, milk, butter, eggs, feta, sausage. My wife is crazy for goat cheese. Animal Search and Rescue does it again. Call me.
Thank you, Susan. And one last thank you to all three of our storytellers, Crystal Schachter, Sarah Jacob, and Susan Ragusa. Oh, and of course, thank you to all of our storytellers' furry friends, Crystal's kitty, Kaya, and Teddy. I'm Julie Novak, and this has been the TMI Project Story Hour. Thank you for joining us.
If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps. TMI Project is available to offer true storytelling workshops and performances for your school or workplace. To learn more or to support our work, you can find details about it all at tmiproject.org. This episode of the TMI Project Story Hour was produced in partnership with Radio Kingston. It was written, edited, and produced by me, Eva Tenuto, Blake Pfeil, and Raine Grayson. Our theme song is Secrets by Edison Woods. I'm Eva Tenuto, TMI Project's Executive Director. Our Operations and Programs Manager is Blake Pfeil. Our Organizational Administrator is Raine Grayson. Our Marketing and Digital Coordinator is Laura Marie Ruocco. Our Administrative Assistant is Riley Gibbons. Our Graphic Designer and Webmaster is Lauren Gill. Our workshop leaders are Perla Iora, Haley Downs, Raine Grayson, Ray Lipkin, Dara Lurie, Micah, Julie Novak, Blake Pfeil, and me, Eva Tenuto. New episodes of the TMI Project Story Hour come out every Wednesday. To learn more and to find a special writing prompt so you can start telling your story, visit tmiproject.org/podcast.